Alright guys, what's going on? I just wanted to thank you guys for clicking on the video. We're going to be doing a quick Q&A. I put up a Q&A up on my Instagram, gathered up some questions. I'm here with my best friend, my training partner, and my boy, Sumner Healy. He's going to be answering the same questions with us. He got questions on his profile, so he put up a Q&A up on his YouTube channel. So if you want to go see the second half, that's the guy. But we're going to go ahead and get started with this Q&A, and yeah, let's
do it.
Dive into it. I got a lot of trivial questions, which is like not super like about fitness and stuff, but it should be fun.
It'll be good.
So the first one is actually a decent question. Does it matter what time of the day you work out, and what time do you usually work out? So with this question, there are studies that say that, like, you know, the evening time your testosterone's higher, you have better strength, your grip strength is higher and stuff. Reaction time is better. So scientifically, the evening time around like 5 to 7 o'clock is probably the most ideal. But as a coach's perspective, I think that there is no perfect time. I think the perfect time is whenever you can fit it in.
Spot on.
That, whatever you can fit it in and whatever could be most consistent, that is the perfect time. So, you know, my training times always vary depending on how I feel. If I have a lot of work to do, then I'll go in later in the evening. If I finish work up pretty early, then I'll go, you know, in the morning. Sometimes I'll go like early morning. So I think whatever time you can fit it in consistently with your schedule is by far going to be the best time.
Totally agree. Yeah, we're looking for consistency over the optimal time, right? 5 to 7 p.m. is great, but if you can't do it, don't do it. Don't kill yourself over it. Go when you can go.
Perfect. So second question is, do you sleep on your back or your stomach? I do not sleep on my stomach. I don't know how anyone. I don't know how anyone can sleep on their stomach. Typically, when I nap, I'll sleep like a mummy, right on my back, arms crossed, eyes closed. When I fall asleep at night, it's a little bit different. I'll sleep on my shoulder, but I tried my best to sleep on my back because I've noticed that well, this is just anecdotal, but I have muscular imbalances on my left side, and I honestly think it's from sleeping on my left side for like the last 5 years. So I try my best to sleep on my back, but while I'm sleeping, I'll always wake up on my side, and my shoulder's always hurting.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't know how to explain it. I nap on my back sometimes, most times, but I always sleep on my side. I just can't. Sleeping on my back, I feel so vulnerable. You're probably an alien if you sleep on your stomach. Like, I don't consider you a human.
That's just the weirdest thing.
Some fucked up shit. It's also terrible for your stomach.
Yeah, you know what though? I can sleep on my stomach if I'm deadbeat tired. There has been times
if you're
where,
done. You're fried.
I've been able to fall asleep on my stomach a couple times.
Yeah.
There has been times where I've been on the floor, fucking passed out like this. But next question. You could have one cheat meal for the rest of your life. What would it be? So a gluttonous cheat meal, I would probably choose a nice fat burrito. And I think that would do the trick for me. And like a more consistent cheat meal, I would honestly say Halo Top and a Len & Larry's. I really don't think you can go wrong there.
Pizza. You know, I'm not a big sweet cheat meal guy.
Yeah.
Pizza, cereal.
Actually, I'm a big sweet cheat
meal
guy. Oh yeah. Ice cream.
Yeah. You know what?
Cereal, definitely.
Cereal is the exception. I don't crave like a big thing of ice cream, but I do crave a large pizza to myself. Oh, smash.
Dude, you know what? Cereal fucked me up for a long time, man. I would go like, back when I was in high school and I was living with my parents and they kind of controlled what food they were buying. I would go my entire day right on track, and then 11 o'clock would hit and I'd go downstairs and I would just go ham on cereal, throw all my progress out the window.
Back up some Life cereal.
Life cereal, mini wheats.
Yeah.
Let's see, CTC, Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Oh, CTC's dirty, man.
Next question. Have you ever tried yoga? I actually used to do yoga quite often. I used to do yoga once a week back when I was doing P90X. There was a yoga day, and I didn't stray away from any one of those days. So I did yoga, kicked my ass, and it's something that I really enjoyed. But after moving on from the program, I wanted to focus everything on bodybuilding, and I just didn't have enough time to do yoga. Haven't done it since. It's something that I definitely would love to do when I'm a little bit older, but right now I'm having fun with, you know, lifting weights and just doing my thing.
It's one of those things I'll do once my body starts hurting even more. My ex-girlfriend actually was really into yoga. She got me into hot yoga for like a little stint, and boy, do I have an immense respect for yogis out there. It is an ass-kicking workout, especially the hot yoga. It's something I've done, a handful of times. Haven't been super consistent with it, but little practices that I learned there, I do kind of integrate into my stretching routine. So yeah, I think it's amazing.
I definitely like a lot of the spine work they do. So like the downward dog, upward dog. Is that one?
Is that upward? I don't know, but I do that.
I do it all the time just because I'm sitting on my computer like this all the time. So before I work out, I always make sure to get that opposite stretch in my spine, and I think it helps my performance a lot. Next question is, who is your favorite influencer? Fitness influencer, specifically.
I'll let you take that one away first. I gotta think about that.
So this is kind of a weird perspective, I would say. It's like, I don't put anyone on a pedestal. When I look at people in the fitness industry, whether that's Steve Cook, David Lade, Jeff Side, I don't look at them as like the GOAT or the God or like someone that's above me. I look at them as an equal, and I'm like, one day like it'd be cool to be homies with them. Like, I wouldn't say that I have. In the beginning, I definitely did when I was younger. Abel Albonetti was a big one. Greg Plitt was a big one. But as I got older and kind of found my own voice and kind of carved my own path, I'm not really that heavily influenced by a lot of these people out in the YouTube or the fitness world. I would say if I were to hang out with one fitness person, it would definitely be Joe Delaney. Joe Delaney by far he's like the only person I really watch. I think he's a cool guy, very humble, down to earth. He's got a cool mindset and outlook on life. And I think he's really unique. So I would say he had a lot of influence on my life, but it's not like I'm looking up towards them as like the one and only.
Yeah.
I look at them as an equal.
Yeah, I don't follow a ton of people in the fitness space, honestly. I would say someone that like got me really inspired when I first started my journey would be Mark Fit. Like, I've followed him ever since, I was like 18 years old. So I got a lot of respect for the guy. I think he's just like a cool ass dude. So Mark Fit
was definitely a big one for me in the beginning too.
Yeah, man. Outside of that, I'm not super duper into the whole space. I'm a big fan. This is kind of fringe. I'm a big fan of Joe Rogan.
Mm-hmm.
He's into fitness, kind of.
Yeah, I like
people that are like
into it, but not.
Yeah, I'm not like the Christian Guzmans, all these people. I love them, I respect them, but it's just not my bag.
Yeah, it doesn't do it for me.
Yeah.
Next question. How do you like living in VA so far compared to the West Coast? VA is so different, man. It is so different than how I ever imagined, and I am appreciating every single second of it. I've grown up on the East Coast for 22 years, or the West Coast for 22 years of my life, so I kind of like been there, done that. So there's not much that excites me. With the West Coast, I do plan on going back, but right now I'm having a really fun time over on the East Coast. There's so much that I haven't seen, so much that I want to see, so much to experience, people to meet. So right now I'm loving VA just because everything is so new.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of like getting fresh stimulus in your life, and this is doing just that for me. I'm not in a rush to go back to the West Coast. I think I do prefer the West Coast to really put things into perspective of just how amazing the West Coast is as a whole, and I understand why people are so compelled to venture out there. It's a phenomenal place, but there's a lot of awesome stuff about living on the East Coast as well. And I think the other thing too is that like while Zakk and I have been out here for almost 2 months, there's still a lot we haven't even tapped into yet. So I can't really make a fair comparison, but I'm enjoying it, man. Taking it one step at a time and just soaking it up, the new stimulus. Like I said, like even though I do think California is way doper in every sense, I'm still enjoying the hell out of it.
Yeah, there's big differences between California and Virginia. Like California was so much fun, and I honestly I'm definitely going back because so far that's the best place I've ever been. It's such a cool place. But Virginia is different, man. Virginia is a little bit more laid back, a little bit more homey, a little bit more relaxed. It's kind of like I feel
I wouldn't say laid back. I think it's less laid back than California, but we just live in a sleepy town.
Yeah,
like,
that's
DC,
what I mean.
Like I'm like, whoa, this is hustle and bustle.
Yeah,
like, San Diego is laid back compared to this.
Maybe it's the area we live in, or it's definitely the area
We're in like a sleepy little town.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel when I'm here, I feel like there's no rush.
Yeah.
California, I was getting a lot of anxiety because I felt like I needed to rise up to the occasion to be able to even live there. But here, I'm like, no, everything's taken care of. Like I'm just
slower.
It's slower. It's nice. It's a nice break.
Yeah. No, I'm really enjoying it.
So a similar question to that one. since we're on the topic of Virginia, California. Staying on the East Coast for the extended future or cruising back to Cali soon? Man, it is too soon to cruise back to Cali.
Too soon?
Way too soon.
I would, as I just signaled to the people, I'm thinking we got 2 to 4 years. In that time span, a lot of intermittent trips back to California. Might live half and half. I don't know. But
here's the way I think of it. It's like there's so much that I want to see and do over on the East Coast, and so much that I haven't experienced yet, and so many things that I want to make memories of. Like living on the West Coast, I have the Pacific Coast Highway became our playground. We went up and down that thing so many times, and I want that same experience over here too. And the thing is, if I know that I'm gonna go back to Cali at some point in my life, I will live back in Cali and I'll probably stay there for the rest of my life. But if I were to go back now, I don't know when the next time I would come to the East Coast is. Yeah. So the opportunity is now, and I'm gonna seize that as long as it's here. And so for the extended future, I'd say, yeah, we're gonna stay on the East Coast for a minute. There's too much to see and do right now to go back. And
opportunity cost.
Exactly, and that's pretty much where I'm at. If I went back to California right now, I don't know when the next time I'd go to the East Coast is, but I know my family and my home is in California, so as long as I'm over here, I do know that I will be back.
No, I totally agree. There's just no rush. There's no rush, and like I said in the previous question, there's still so much we haven't seen, done, experienced. We got a lot on our bucket list out here, so we'll see. Check back in 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years, yeah. Well, I mean, and the thing is too, it's like we're gonna be traveling back.
We're guesstimating, man. 2 years is I'm just saying that. Who knows, man? It might be 12 months, it might be fucking 36 months, I don't know.
You're the fuck anywhere. Okay, do you think you'll ever compete in another competition? While I was doing my competition, I said, fuck no, I'm never doing another one again. But then I also said that 2 years ago. So I really don't know and I can't say. At the moment right now, I'm just really enjoying fitness and I'm enjoying coaching and I'm kind of enjoying just doing my own thing. But, you know, in the foreseeable future, who knows? I really don't know.
Yeah, I have other priorities with my training. Want to run a marathon, want to build up my functional strength a little more, want to build up my mobility. I want to go to the CrossFit Games.
It's a stretch.
It's a stretch. But I want to go to the Olympics.
Yeah.
But, you know, I definitely wouldn't write it off. And like, as much as I don't like the whole NPC freaking fitness show culture, it's not my bag at all. I enjoy the challenge. I'm always up for a challenge. And you know what? Looking back at our last prep, I'm like, breaking it down, I'm like, okay, there's so many things we did wrong, and if we did it this time, we would tweak this and tweak that, and that excites me.
Yeah, I think if I ever did another show, it wouldn't be something so planned out and so glorified. If I were to do another show, it'd probably just be a last minute decision, just be like, hey, I'm feeling really good right now, there's a show up in 2 months, might as well just go for it. I feel like it's not really going to be a plan like, oh, I'm going to bulk up for 2 years and then cut for a year and then do a show and win. It's like, I might just do it for the hell of it, and it might be something that I take on as a hobby when I'm older. But right now, it's not in my.
Honestly, it hindered so many other areas of my life, and the net result just wasn't that fun. That it's not really justifiable at this moment.
Yeah, and then the thing too is like we had our fun. We checked off the thing that we wanted to check off. And pretty much the goal for our competition was like, hey, that would be really cool if we stepped on stage together and we did this together. That was really the goal. That was really the idea behind it, and we did that. You know, it was never something like I want to compete and make something out of it. It was like, let's do this together and have fun. Yeah. We did it. That's all.
Conquered that. If you're keeping your expenses low enough and you don't have a bunch of dependents, you can figure shit out. So I really do think there is no shortage of money out there. If you believe in yourself, if you believe in your skills, you can make it happen. As a side note, it also doesn't hurt to start saving now and prepare a little bit. Like, you don't have to live on the seat of your pants and be like, okay, well, today I'm quitting my job and I'm gonna go and start this business. You can make a roadmap and be like, okay, so 6 months from now, I wanna quit my job and go do whatever it is that I wanna do. And I know in order to have that happen, I need to save $1,500 a month. Do whatever you have to do to get there, and you'll be okay.
This is something that I've always thought about, and Sumner I'm piggybacking off of what Sumner was saying, is like, I don't view money as it's a tool for me. It's like, money has no value for me if it's sitting in the bank. I need to be putting that money somewhere that's gonna add value to my life or just develop me as a person. So hiring a coach, you know, investing in different camera equipment, just spending money in order to get me farther along adds more value because I know that money will return in the long run just by adding value to myself. But what I've always thought is like when there's like a big payment coming up, like you know, getting my coach was a kind of took my breath away. But you know, I kind of think about the worst case scenario. What's the worst case scenario? You know, I bust tables for almost 4 years, and if I go bankrupt, if I lose everything and everything fucking hits the ground, I can always go back to busting tables, save up a little bit of money. I'm not gonna die. I'm not gonna go hungry. And the thing is, like, even though the money won't be there, the value that I added to my life with the money that I spent on myself will always be there. Yeah. So it's like, the worst case scenario, what's the worst that can happen? Yeah. You work at a restaurant for a couple years and then get back right where you started, but you built up some toughness in the process too.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a part of the journey too. I always think about worst case scenarios all the time, and I'm like, I don't think about it like, oh my god, my life is going to be ruined. I think about that like, oh, if that happens, that'll be fun. I remember talking to Sumner about this. I'm like, okay, we're out here in Virginia. Worst case scenario, what happens? Okay, what if we get kicked out? Well, we go live in our car on the East Coast for fucking who knows how long. Maybe drive down to Miami, live on the beach for a little bit until we save up some money for a place. Like, that sounds fun to me. Like, part of me wishes that would happen. Like, it's really never that bad.
It's never that bad. And you know what, the other thing, guys, is that I'm only 23 years old. I have a limited amount of life experience, but I also feel like in the entrepreneurial space I've gone through many evolutions. And the reality is, what I've learned, there's never a right time. There's never a moment where it's going to be like, oh yeah, this makes sense, this feels easy. Sometimes you just gotta freaking jump.
Act now, think later, man.
Sometimes you gotta do it. Sometimes you gotta do it. So that's kind of my 2 cents, pun intended. What's one thing you guys don't like about what you do?
Okay. Do you want to go?
Yeah, I mean, this is a broad question. I don't know if he's talking about coaching. I don't know if he's talking about
lifting,
fitness in general, like
eating,
living,
breathing,
totally,
being a sick guy.
It kind of like crosses all spectrums. So I'll divvy it up. I would say one thing I don't like about coaching. I think that let's talk about more on the business side of things.
About what we do.
From like a business standpoint, I think the one thing I don't like about coaching, I think the one thing I don't like about coaching, which can kind of bother me about the online platform, is sometimes I feel like my impact is limited, just because I'm more of a hands-on person, and I really feel like a lot of the value that I bring is best served when it's one-on-one, hands-on. I'm with that one person. It's that one-to-one interaction. And so going from like a one-to-one to a one-to-many approach can feel kind of weird at times, especially when I can't have constant input with every single client at once. Like, having done both in-person training and online training, I like the in-person training just because it's just tangible. I can control every variable, and I can really ensure the success of that client a little bit better, I feel like. I'm not saying that online coaching clients can't have phenomenal success or even better success than someone that's doing in-person training. I just think as a coach, it's like a skill that I haven't fully developed and I'm learning to develop, which is a little bit tricky. Why don't you hit on that? I'm going to get Zoe so she stops eating this.
Yeah, so one thing I would say about online coaching that I don't really like, it kind of feeds in with what Sumner was talking about. A lot of the times I'm left in the dark, and that kind of gives me, it doesn't give me anxiety, but I think about my clients all the time. I'm thinking about what they're doing, I think about how they're doing, and when I'm not, keeping my hands on with them, and I don't hear back from them in a few days, or it's been like, I don't know, some time has passed and I don't know exactly what's going on. Some of the clients will not reach out when they need help because they haven't broken that barrier to where, like, I don't know, they feel, I've talked to a few of my clients that were like, well, I thought about reaching out, but I didn't want to bother you. I'm like, no, that's what I'm here for.
Totally. I think the thing, though, I've had to learn, too, to kind of piggyback on that, is that everyone has a different way of communicating. Mm-hmm. I want that constant input. Some people don't communicate like that.
I have clients that will wake up and text me every single day, hey, lost 3 pounds today, or hey, just killed the workout. That's what I really like about it. I don't like having to text my clients over and over and over and over again to get like a one-word response.
Totally.
I don't like being left in the dark. That's the answer.
I have some clients where every single week without fail we do a check-in call because they crave it, and I crave it as a coach. That's like when I feel like I'm serving them at my highest level. I have some clients that don't need a check-in call for 4 weeks straight, and I'm like, hey, you there? And then finally they're like, okay, now I need one, and I'm like, oh. What? Yeah. I've been trying to get a hold of you for so long.
Yeah, and the people who will always communicate well, I like serving those people the best because I know exactly where they are and exactly how I can help them.
Top 3 things on your bucket list. I'm gonna do this off the cuff. I haven't had any time to think about this, so like rapid fire, 3 things on my bucket list that I would want to do right here, right now, in this moment. Man, a big one is riding a bike from the East Coast to the West Coast. Want to do that badly. Second thing, I would love to go to the CrossFit Games. Watched the CrossFit documentary last night, haven't stopped thinking about it. Forefront of my mind, I'm like, dude, get me out there. I am so underprepared, probably would have like 5 years of training to do to even hold a candle to those guys. But man, like, that's on my bucket list. Third thing, I would honestly, something I've been thinking about a lot lately is doing something a little more charitable. I just feel like sometimes I can be incredibly selfish, and I think we all can. I'm not knocking myself for it, but I'm like, dude, I would like to do something that has a direct impact to someone else. Not even like, hey guys, I wrote a free training ebook, this is for you. That's not charity. I'm talking about like, how sick would it be if I went and dropped $500 on jackets and went in the winter to Washington, D.C. and handed out those jackets? Doing something like that is on my bucket list because I've never really done anything like that. And I feel like it's an innate human piece of us. Like, we all have this giving mentality, or to some degree, we all have this giving part of us. It's just about fully realizing it and having the balls to act on it. And right now I'm like, I would love to act on that.
So mine are a little bit quicker than that. Forefront of my mind, top 3, definitely Miami. Miami's been on my bucket list for the last like 3 years. I've always wanted to go, and now I feel like I'm closer than ever, so I feel like now is the time to go. Second on my bucket list is New York. I want to actually, an East Coast road trip is definitely on my bucket list. That's kind of why we came out here, is to explore an adventure, so that's something that I'd like to cross off this year, is do a road trip either up north and then do one down south, just so we could cover the whole spectrum. So Miami and New York are 2 things on my bucket list, and then I'm getting my guitar shipped out here. I want to get back up on that stage. I want to join another band. I've been having such a fat craving to play music again, and I don't know where it came from. Maybe it's because we're out here, we have so much time that, I kind of want to fill my time with another hobby. But I've been having daydreams of like being back up on stage, just rocking out, and that's something that I'd really love to do again.
Next one, I think people are held back from their dreams because of finances. How do you guys handle this?
Ooh, dude, I've always been a pull the trigger guy, so I've always never let finances get in my way. I've always been a chronic saver, so I've always had the money there, and I've never thought twice about where it's, I think twice about where it's going, but I always make sure to invest it in myself. So, I just hired a business coach a couple months ago, and I didn't even think twice about, the finances. I had the money, I knew what the worth was, and I just pulled the trigger. And I feel like people think a little bit too much. I go by this mantra, and it's not the most sound advice, but I tell myself, act now, think later. And usually what that means is like, if there's an opportunity that's going to set you up, act before you let self-doubt get in your way, and just pull the trigger. And the thing is, like, money comes and goes. The money will always replenish. So for me, it's all about taking risks. If it doesn't work out, hey, the money's going to come back eventually. If it does work out, well then, good on you for taking the risk.
Yeah, so the way I look at it, and I think this is a great question, because honestly I feel like most people are stuck in this hemming and hawing state of being like, okay, so my dream's over here, I'm doing this current thing. For me to bridge this gap, typically the disconnect is money, right? Like that's most people, that's what's going to keep them in their current situation and keep them from ever chasing their dream, is either a made up belief that there isn't going to be enough money, or maybe it might be founded. Maybe they have $13 in their bank account and there's no freaking way I'm going to be able to connect the dots here. So the way I like to do it is kind of do a little bit of a reframe, right? Like I like to look at money as something that's just coming and flowing, right? Like, I'm much like Zakk. I am a saver. Like, I've always been a saver, but I'm not like someone that views money as this finite resource. Like, money's there.
Money's a tool.
It's everywhere. Like,
yeah.
There's no shortage of it in the way I look at it. So it's like, I know worst case scenario, there's always money out there. The other thing too is that, like, a lot of it is just about building up belief in your resilience, right? So, like, okay, so I go and chase my dreams, and if shit hits the fan and for whatever reason temporarily things don't pan out, I believe in myself enough to know that in that moment I'll be able to connect the dots. I don't care if I have to go mop floors at 7-Eleven. I know I have what it takes to do that and see it through to actually go to where I want to go. And so I'm totally okay with that risk because I know that I have a fail-safe. And we all have these fail-safes. Like, living in a developed country like the United States, or really any part of North America, or even Europe, or really at this point, I mean, essentially the world in a lot of cases, there is so much protection. Like, the system is actually, in my opinion, built for you to win if you're willing to take the risk. Like, there is no shortage of jobs that pay you $10 to $12 an hour out there. Because how do you guys break up your finances, essentially? Like, what does your monthly spending look like? So honestly, Zakk and I both live super minimalist lifestyles. I mean, we're not like traditionally minimalist, but as far as our spending goes, I could divvy it up to food. For me, experiences, like if I'm going out on a weekend, I have no problem dropping a decent amount of change just because I really value experiences, especially shared with other people. Phenomenal. If we're going out to a nice restaurant, I'm not going to shy away from ordering something that I want, but I'm also not the kind of... But I'm also not the kind of guy to go out there and go buy a watch or new shoes or things that are just not valuable to me. So I feel like I have my values in line with what I spend money on, and I would say I spend roughly $600 to $1,000 a month. I don't really ever exceed that, honestly.
Yeah, so I'm really funny with my spending. Like I said, I'm a chronic saver, so I have a hard time justifying buying anything for myself. When it comes to clothes, I wear clothes from 4 years ago. I've had my shoes for the last 4 years. Really, all of my money essentially goes towards food and pretty much survival needs. So when I have a car, it's gas, maintenance, rent, and food. That's pretty much as much as my expenses get. I have no problem going out and spending money, but I don't go out very often just because it's not part of my lifestyle. So it's just simple stuff, man. Simple stuff just gets me by. I have a really hard time, like Sumner knows this, I will sit for days questioning whether I should buy a $45 video game because I'm like, dude, I just have a hard time. But then I look back and I spent over like $6K on, you know, courses and programs and self-education. So it's so weird.
It's values, man.
It's values. There's priorities. You know, I'll have a hard time going out and dropping $500 on a night, but I'll drop $500 on books. Yeah. So it's depends on where your money's going.
A frame of mind I like to take is, what's the ROI on this? And not literally, but like me going out for a night, what's going to be the return on investment as far as my satisfaction? Like, we go out and we're spending good time with friends, I'm not going to shy away from spending a little bit of money because I'm like, I will remember this forever. Mm-hmm. What's the return on investment on a $45 video game? It's probably negative. It's probably going to detract from you actually producing results. So I just kind of take it from that frame of mind. Same thing with self-education. The return on an investment is going to be through the freaking roof. We're talking like 10 to 20x in some cases. So it's a no-brainer.
I won't even think twice about it.
I won't even think twice about it.
But as far as monthly expenses go, we're very, very simple guys.
Yeah.
It's just simple guys, man. Just food, gym, and we don't even have a car anymore, so we just walk. Yeah. So our expenses are nil.
We'll buy like a plane ticket here and there, gas.
Plane ticket, travel.
Keep it simple, man.
But when we travel, man, it's so bootstrapped.
Bootstrapped, baby.
We are fucking sleeping on couches, sleeping on floors. There was a night where we almost slept in our car, and I was actually looking forward to that. I kind of wish we did, but you know, it's very I don't know what it is. If I have the money to buy a hotel room, but I have the option to sleep in my car for free, I'm going to sleep in my car.
Every time.
Yeah, I won't even think twice about it. Okay, last question. What's your favorite body part to train? Least favorite / needs the most work? My favorite body part to train right now is definitely my shoulders. I love training shoulders. I love the feeling of training shoulders. I love the pump of training shoulders. I've definitely put in a lot of work in my shoulders. They were a lacking point, and now I feel like they're one of my stronger points. My least favorite is definitely legs. I don't really enjoy it that much, but I get it done anyway. You know, back when I first started, I used to do exercises I hated because I thought you had to do them. Like I used to squat a lot, leg press a lot, deadlift a lot, and I really didn't like the feeling of them, but I pushed through it anyway because I thought that's what you had to do. But lately I've been switching up my leg workouts to just do things that I enjoy, like lunges, Romanian deadlifts with the dumbbells, like lighter stuff, but like stuff that's a little bit more enjoyable, so I've been hitting it a little bit more often. But I would say that the area that needs the most work is definitely my back. My back, I mean, the last 5 years I've dedicated to my lats and my rhomboids and lower traps and my traps in general are non-existent. So I think that's kind of where I'm shifting my focus as of recently. And I think that's the area that I'm working to bring up this off season.
Yeah, I think my favorite, shoulders, biggest lagging point, chest. My least favorite, arms, without a freaking doubt. Sometimes I'm like, man, I don't want to hit legs, but you know what? I actually, every time I go in for a leg session, I leave feeling like $1,000,000. And the reason is, being the biggest muscle group in your body, you can hammer those MFers. And that's fun. That's really fun. For me, arms is so tedious. It's so just...
I will say I've never gone in to hit just an arms workout. It's always been like an accessory movement at the end. When I work out, I love taxing my body, and I love leaving knowing that like the energy that I had built up is gone. I feel like hitting arms just doesn't give you that feeling.
Does not give you that feeling at all. And honestly, like, I don't know, I like getting to that point where like you're benching and you're like, oh my fucking god, I can barely get this last rep up. Like, that's fun to me. Or hitting a PR. I never get that with arms. No. I don't give a shit about hitting a PR with my arms because it never really happens. I never get to that point of like, this is so fucking challenging. It's just kind of like rep, rep, rep. Oh, I got a pump. Rep. Oh, this kind of burns. Keep on going. It's just not that exhilarating to me. Whether I'm doing a full-fledged arm workout or like I'm just hitting at the end, I've noticed I'll do about 2 sets and I'm like, dude, I'm freaking bored.
That's me too.
Let me go like do some crunches or something. Like that to me is way more exciting. Just because I don't know, I guess it's just more intense. It's more engaging. So yeah, far and away, hate training arms. And I've tried to trick myself into doing it, and I go there and I'm like, I end up training another muscle group. I went to go hit arms 3 days ago. I went and just trained abs essentially the whole time. I just don't enjoy it.
You know what I used to do actually is to get myself as a reward for leg day is because I was always like not looking forward to leg day, even though I always have a good workout. I would always reward myself by hitting a few sets of arms after.
It's smart. That's super smart.
I'd always be like, okay, you know, I'm gonna go through my leg day, and then at the end, I'll hit a couple sets of triceps, and that actually motivated me to get through the whole workout.
It's funny how that works. Yeah. Well, is that the end of the Q&A?
Yeah, that was a fast one. So, I just want to thank you guys for watching. You know, make sure to subscribe, ask questions. You know, we'll be doing Q&As a little bit more often. To go see the other Q&A, go check out his channel. And that's going to be it for this one, guys. Thank you so much.
Peace.